Hey VC, it's Jonathan, your cheap and cheerful record collector. I hope everybody's doing well out there. There's a thread going around the VC of showing interracial bands with the times we're in and all the division that's going on and all the problems we're having. Music is certainly a way to bring people together. And I think it's a great idea to show these albums that have, from the beginning, have helped people come together. First one I'm going to show goes back to the swing era, and when the swing jazz, you had, at that time, they always had black and white bands. You had your Duke Ellington, Count Basie, Fletcher Henderson, etc., all the black bands then. And then you had your white bands. You had Benny Goodman, Artie Shaw, Glenn Miller. But in 1935, Benny Goodman said, I want the best musicians. I'm really not interested in what color they are. I want the best musician. I want to form a little trio. And he came together and put the Benny Goodman trio together with Teddy Wilson on piano and Gene Krupa on drums. They later added on vibraphone, drawing a blank. I'll think of it. Anyway, they had become a quartet and added a vibraphonist to the band. But as it says here, early in 1935, 3 guests sat down to play after finishing a dinner at Mildred Bailey's house in Forest Hills, Long Island. It was at this moment the Benny Goodman Trio was born, with Benny on clarinet. Benny was Jewish. Gene Krupa, I'm not sure if Gene was Italian or German. The Krupa, probably German, sounds more like it, on drums. And Teddy Wilson, African-American, at the piano. The music that night was so memorable that the next move was to arrange for a recording session to preserve it for the future. The trio's debut in 1936 at Chicago's Congress Hotel. So one of the few people at the time who had enough clout to be able to put together a interracial band going back 1935, 1936, Benny Goodman. One of the first. During the doo-wop period in the 50s and 60s. Again, they had basically white bands and black bands, but the one band that was the first interracial band that bridged that gap. I don't have their album, but I do have a song on this album, this great compilation of American Graffiti. The band was the Cress, and the Cress were formed in the mid-50s, founded by J.T. Carter, who was the bass singer for it, included Tommy Groh, Harold Chico Torres, Patricia Vandross, who is the older sister of the R&B singer Luther Vandross, and Johnny Maestro as the singer. Johnny Maestro was the white man. He was the lead singer. Went on to form, of course, Johnny Maestro and the Brooklyn Bridge, and had their big hit, The Best That Could Happen. But he started off with a band called the Cress, which was the first interracial doo-wop band. And I highly recommend this compilation from the movie American Graffiti. Great, great songs on there. In the rock era, again, mostly white bands and black bands. You had your San Francisco bands and you had your Motown bands. But there were a couple that crossed over, and one of them was the band Love with Arthur Lee as the lead singer. I know they had a lot of hard time booking the band in the South. Even as late as 67, 68, they still had a lot of problems booking the band. But a great band. Everyone knows this album, Da Capo. But yeah, I definitely chose this as a interracial band. At the time, you also had in San Francisco, put together, Ry Cooder went with Taj Mahal and formed a band, not Little Village. Can't think of the name. I don't have that album, but I do have Taj Mahal's first album, which features Ry Cooder on guitar, along with Jesse Ed Davis. Oh, Lionel Hampton was the vibraphone player for Benny Goodman. I knew it would come to me. So there you go. Taj Mahal with Ry Cooder and Jesse Ed Davis. Interracial band, Little Village. That's the band, Little Village. Takes me a while. Little Village. When you get to my age, you'll have the same issue. That was the band that they formed, put out one album. They were very big in the San Francisco area, but they never really made, the album never broke through. and the band broke up. Taj Mahal put out this album and brought in Ry Cooder to play guitar. Fantastic album. A great band. Another interracial band came from Texas. The people, the record company, decided they wanted to make the name sound more like the English bands, and that people wouldn't know that they were from Texas, and that they had half the band was Chicanos, and the band was the Sir Douglas Quintet. Doug Somm, right there, great Doug Somm, and this is a fantastic album with the hit song Mendocino. This album cover is totally falling apart, but the record's definitely playable, and I love this band. So yeah, Sir Douglas Quintet with Doug Somm, etc. In Memphis, you had Stax Records, and their house band was an interracial band, and that's Booker T and the MGs. And with Booker T. Jones on organ, Steve Cropper and Donald Duck Dunn, they played backup for all the house band, all the house acts at Stax, of course, including Otis Redding, and traveled with Otis on the road. But this is their one hit, Green Onions. Great album, and another great interracial band from the era. In Chicago, you had many people sitting in with each other and playing blues early on. And the band that I picked to show was the first Paul Butterfield Blues Band album, which a fantastic record with Paul Butterfield, Mike Bloomfield on guitar, Elvin Bishop on guitar, Jeremy Arnold on bass, Sam Lay on drums, and Mark Knapflin on organ. And this is the first Paul Butterfield Blues Band album. This is Sundazed issue. I got sick of trying to find a nice, clean original, so went for the Sundazed and loved it. I'm actually lucky enough to have seen them in 1965 at the Newport Folk Festival. Mark Knapflin wasn't with the band yet, so it was just other people in the band, but I got to see Mike Bloomfield and Elvin Bishop with them. I'm sorry, Paul Butterfield Blues Band, great interracial band. In the South, another interracial band started up, and one place you really wouldn't expect it, but I guess you would, because they shared so much music and so much talent. And of course, it was the Allman Brothers with Greg Allman, Dwayne Allman, Dickie Betts, Butch Trucks, Barry Oakley, and of course, Johnny Johnson on drums and conga. So, Allman Brothers Band. Kid in New Jersey was trying to make a go, trying to make music, and needed one more element to make the band work. And he found the element with Clarence Clemens, obviously. The big man joined the band, and Bruce Springsteen, Greetings from Asbury Park. It's the original, the first album by the band, and they were a great band, and really, Clarence Clemens really made the band. And there you go, Bruce Springsteen, another man with interracial band. And then the last one is not really a band. They played together and recorded together. They never really were a band, but it's a fantastic album that everybody should know about if they don't. And it's Fathers and Sons, recorded in 1969. One album is a studio album. One album is a live album. I'm sorry, there's the lineup: Muddy Waters, Otis Spann, Mike Bloomfield, Paul Butterfield, Donald Duck Dunn, Sam Lay, Buddy Miles. Fantastic album. There's Muddy. First album was recorded in the studio. Second album was recorded live at the Super Cosmic Joy Scout Jamboree in 1969 in Chicago. What else can you say about bringing people together? There's the black god touching the white bluesman, passing on the knowledge. So, a great album to bring people together. So there you go. That's my entry into the thread of interracial bands and bringing people together. A couple of hiccups on the way there, but basically that's it. What are you going to do? When you get to be my age, you'll have these same issues. Okay. I hope everybody will continue to do well. I want to thank all my new subscribers. I got a lot of new subscribers. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to watch my silly little videos. And until next time, peace.